Welcome to Retail Retold, the stories behind how that store landed in your neighborhood. I'm Chris Ressa, in conversation with the people and stories shaping retail and real estate. Brought to you by DLC. Welcome to Retail Retold, everyone. Today I am joined by Brian Hilko. Brian is the owner of Golf Factory in Mount Prospect, Illinois. He's a DLC tenant at Ranhurst Village. I'm excited for him to be here. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Hey, thanks for having me, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Brian, why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about who you are and your background?
Yeah, I've been a PGA professional for about 20 years. I've run golf courses, worked at private clubs, taught, run golf operations, merchandising operations. I just love golf. I love being around golf. And, it's as my things change, you have a family and you kind of look at what's important in life and kind of what you want to accomplish. And working in the golf business is just a grind in the summers. And, I looked at the indoor environment as something that, it's like, all right, I can turn that grind into a grind in the winter, really kind of show off my love for golf and kind of find that balance between my family and work and really have something that I'm proud of. And, yeah, and that's just how this came to be was, I wanted everything I love about golf, the laid back feel, fun, engaging golf experience I love, but in a very low key environment. It's kind of takes the edge off of, it's when you go to the golf course, it could be a little intimidating. Here, it's just very laid back. And, that's what I really love about this place and, really kind of showing off what I love about golf.
So that's awesome story. So I picked up golf as a COVID hobby. I love it. I got the bug. Um,
Nice. There's a lot of you who get picked it up during COVID.
my whole family, my friends, business, everyone had golfed. And I was just like, I'm never going to get into this. It's going to take too long for me to learn. And then I'm going to go out. It's such a long endeavor. And then I started, I'm like, I can't believe I hadn't done this before. I grew up playing sports. This is crazy. And then I went, the last 2 years, I went all in trying to improve my game and get better at golf. And just like a lot of us out there through the COVID time period. So, uh, yeah.
It sucks you in, man. It's like, you think about in this world, like, there's not a lot of things that'll, like, drag you off your phone, and golf is, like, one of those things, and I think going forth, I think there's a real appreciation for things that, like, especially you can come together as a family, like, how hard is it to go out with your, like, teenage kids and, like, have fun together and put down the phones, and, like, that's something that golf does, and I think that's something and, like, when you look towards the longevity of the game, like, I think that's something that's really gonna stand out and resonate where people may not even realize it. It's just something that kinda really brings you into the present, which is hard to find nowadays.
For sure. So tell me, before Golf Factory, what was the day job? You had mentioned the things you had done. What was the day job right before Golf Factory?
So I was doing a couple things. I was running a public golf course in Aurora. I also ran golf events for a place called New Club Golf Society, where I was planning trips and just like kind of monthly get-togethers and setting up tee times for the group. And then I'd also work at another indoor golf spot in the winter. So I was all over the place, but I was constantly consuming golf and yeah, so it's fun, and I got even though all 3 of those jobs were in the golf space, they all brought totally different things. Where, the New Club Golf Society was fun because, like, I love to travel for golf, and I really got to plan some cool trips and, create some really unique experiences for people and, take them to places they may not have been. And, with the indoor golf experience, I got to play. Like, honestly, like, in the summer, like, when I'm working at the golf course, it's a grind, and it's hard to get out there. And when I would work at these places in the winter, I loved it because it was like I could lock the doors up after everyone's left and just rip through 36 holes in, like, 2 hours and then go home and get my fix. So it's like that's where indoor golf really, resonates with me is, like, when you got a busy life and you have kids and it's hard to fit golf in, and this just, it just made, really filled that bucket for me.
Got it. Okay. So what was the point bring me back in time to the point when you said, "You know what? I'm gonna do this on my own. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna open up my own business. I'm gonna open up my own golf business." Bring me back there.
Yeah, I was, it's obviously like the rest of us during COVID, I was like, you could see the golf boom happening, you could see things turning around. And and I just didn't like I worked for a golf management company for my main job. And it's they're great, they do a great job, but at the end of the day, like I just felt like we were given the most bare bones golf experience possible. It was basically hand your money over, here's a cart, go have fun. It's very little, attention paid to the customer experience. And it just, for how much I love golf, it killed me inside to know that, like, we're giving a mediocre golf experience. And I really thought I could do something cool, something that really just shows my love of the game, and something that truly is just, something that honors the game. And, and with this, indoor golf's such a new, kind of world in the golf space. But I was able to highlight a lot of things I love about outdoor golf and bring it indoors and just create I wanted to create something that, that actually like resonated with people, and was truly trying to give back to the game and be a part of the game. And, it's obviously it's important that we all make money. I want to keep the doors open, but I didn't want every decision I did here to be about the bottom line. I wanted it to be about creating a really cool golf space, something that people are proud, really enjoy being, a part of.
Okay. I like that answer. And then it comes time that you need to put like a business plan and like you need to find the money to do this and walk me through how well, first bring me back. Tell everybody what Golf Factory is and then bring us back of how did you like what was the first thing you did to like start like to decide like to start the process of opening the location? Like, where did you have to start? Like, did you have to find the money? Did you have to find the real estate? Did you have to make a business plan? Bring me back.
So it was a lot of things kind of falling in place. Like the first part was, um God bless my father-in-law. He's the most handy person on earth. He's just a jack of all trades. He literally built his own house. He GC'd his own build. Like he's a fireman, but he owns a bunch of rental spaces, and he's just very talented and willing to take on anything. And we gutted my first house and did a bunch of work to it, and that kind of opened my eyes to kind of like what I could do. And and it was I had worked at these indoor spaces, and I remember one day he was over there and I was giving him a golf lesson, and I was just like, "You think we could build this? We could build our own version of it?" And he's flat out said, "Yeah, I'd be totally into do something like this. I've always wanted to build." He had this dream of building a bar. He never did, and this was his chance. So when I got that, that just kind of like opened the floodgates. When I got the blessing from him and my wife, and from there, it was like leaning on. I had a lot of private club experience, and I worked at a club called Hinsdale Golf Club in the western suburbs of Chicago. And you don't realize how big your network is until you like put it to use. Even like my neighbor during COVID, a guy that I didn't even know pre-COVID, he would come over and we would have a beer in my garage and social distance and just talk when everything was locked down. And I told him about the idea, and he's like, "Hey man, like I'm an architect. Like I can help you get there." And then it's like so all these pieces began to kind of fall in place. But then still it's like you go into, all right, like I've never built one of these places out. How am I going to raise the money for this? And once I started approaching banks and talking, I was found out about, the SBA program, and and how it was a viable option, and I was able to bring on a partner, and it all just kind of fell into place. And then from there, it's obviously that included putting together a business plan and approaching the banks. I was lucky in that, like, I would work at these places in the winter, and once I knew I was kind of, that I wanted to do this, I would literally like look, I'd close the register, look at the receipts, I'd write down all the notes I could, trying to give projections. I took the projections that I had the number that I had at the golf course, but then for the indoor golf, I was able to kind of take those numbers and figure out, like, all right, is this a profitable business? And the more as I ran the numbers, I was like, I think I can make this work, and And the whole theme of the place changed a couple times. I mean, like early on, I wanted to find industrial space and just build a big practice facility. That's kind of where the Golf Factory name originally started. But as I started like looking around and seeing these places start to succeed at like high end retail, and with my experience and my creativity, I was like, I can do something really cool and create like a really unique golf space, something that's like different than what's out there. Cause a lot of these indoor golf spaces are more, they feel like bars. And I was like, I want to do something that's bright and fun and definitely like, even though we're a bar, like we're family friendly, and it's just I just wanted a place that truly was like, our tagline's unified in golf. And I really believe in that, because it's like I wanted a space where like anyone could come and play. And what's great about, we're using TrackMan. And for those who don't understand golf sims or have never played in one, TrackMan's like, if you've ever watched pro golf or you've watched baseball and seen StatCast where they're showing like the flight of the ball and all the spin numbers and the ball speed, that TrackMan is tracking that and putting that on your television screen and giving you that information. And but TrackMan, I love at its core, it's very accurate. I'd say 90% of tour pros are using a TrackMan for their practice sessions. But where TrackMan's evolved is they got fun games, they got top golf style games. There's golf courses that are accommodating to everyone. I mean, I have probably 20 par 3 courses. We have 350 courses and we're constantly adding new stuff, but I love that I can accommodate all levels of golfers, that come in here. And that's what I wanted for this space. I just wanted it to be, golf can be standoffish at times and feel intimidating. And I really wanted this place to just feel like a warm blanket when you came in. You just feel comfortable, takes that edge off. Nobody's watching. You got your own bay. If you hit a top shot, who cares? You don't have to have that like walk of shame where you're going to chase it. Here you can just get up, you hit it in the sim. Ball comes right back to you. It just takes that edge off. And
You have
I
to tuck in
really
your shirt?
no, not now. I used to, but I basically built this place so I could wear a hoodie to work. Like that was the other thing. It's like I like that. This is about as dressed up as I get right here. So it's I just wanted a whole different vibe than what a typical golf experience is. And I think that's what makes Golf Factory special, is that it's just different. I think it's golf changing in a lot of good ways. And go on my Instagram feed and just seeing, just the average guy out there having a great time and really highlighting, there's so many channels that are highlighting just the average man out there having fun. And that's what I want this place to be, is just, it's a place for everyone to just kick back and enjoy, be what I consider the greatest game ever created.
I love your passion. It's amazing. It's infectious. So, uh, going back to the business for a second. So you told us what it is now. So you capitalized it through an SBA loan and a partner. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And so to
And
get
my own money. Thank
and your
God
own
my
money,
wife's good at
sure.
saving.
Yeah. So and the the space you took, I'm looking, this equipment's not inexpensive that you had. What was the total investment that you had to make into this space?
So we were like I said, yeah, we were able to build out. We were able to do a lot of work ourselves within reason. Obviously, there's certain things you got to bring people in for. It definitely cost me some time, but the total build out, I was able to keep under $1 million, which was big for this model. It's like if I would have had someone come in, this is probably a $2 million build out right about there from what I priced out. So I was lucky in that, kind of rolled up our sleeves, because financially at that point, at raising a whole nother $1 million, it just didn't seem viable. And to do what I wanted to do and make this place truly cool, instead of like some place that just feels like some pop-up sims thrown in, few tables. I wanted this place to really be cool, that like, because we got a country club down the road, I want those members to come here. And so that's where we were really able to save a lot of money, is just rolling up our sleeves and doing it ourselves.
Love that. I love the scrappiness, man. And
Yeah.
so to save $1 million is huge. So obviously. So um that's the capitalization. When you were drawing up the business plan and projections, what did you project the annual revenue of a place like this could be?
So realistically, when we get to like full, like I'm hoping next winter, like we can get close to $1 million in total revenue.
How long have you been open now?
We've been open for like about 6 months.
And are you ahead? You behind? Where are you on
We're
track?
definitely we're behind, like, not horrible, like, we had the warmest winter ever. Usually, you see about a 20% bump in year 2 is what typically, like, most of the X Golf see. I'm lucky with I have a lot of friends who own X Golfs. I helped a guy in Geneva open an X Golf, so I do have some insider info there, as far as the numbers go. Um, and it's across kinda industry wide. We saw about a 20%, decrease for the places that have been open here in Chicagoland because it was just such a warm winter. But we still did well. Like we're gonna have enough money to survive the summer because obviously we're it's weird even though we're indoors and the weather doesn't affect us, it does. Like once it's nice out, everyone's going back outside after compete against golf courses. I mainly focus on people who would go to the driving range just coming to use our technology. We have video analysis, the data. You can see what's going on and really work on your swing. And then I focus on families in the summer and doing clinics and that sort of thing to drive people in here. But the winter's where we make our money. So it could have been a better first winter, but I'm still happy with where we at. We're hit the number that I needed to hit to get, that we can survive this first summer and hopefully onward and upward.
Amazing. And so bring us so how did you land on Ranhurst Village? It's a property near and dear to my heart. So how did you land that? Tell me the story of how you ended up there.
So I looked everywhere, obviously. I looked at so many spaces. No, there's a lot of things but I knew I was going to build something special, something that could really fit into a higher end development. I just didn't want to go into like a lot of these places are in little like dinky strip malls. And I was like, I just didn't want to do that for the first location. I wanted to find something a little bit nicer. And obviously, as a first time business owner, it's hard. It's like some of these places you approach them and they look at you like, nah, unless you've got 500 locations, we don't even want to talk to you. And which I understand, it's a risk on their part also. And as I looked around, I had family that grew up right here in Park Ridge. My uncle still lives here in Mount Prospect. It's a great golf area. There's 4 golf courses within. I could probably hit a drive or two from this, and Ranhurst, it's definitely,
How
I
far
know
can you
they've
hit the ball?
struggled a little bit to fill it up,
How
as we're
far can you
heading.
hit the ball?
What's that?
How far can you hit the ball if you're hitting golf course equipment?
Pretty close to 300. I can get it
All
out
right.
there.
All right.
So we
You can get
got we
out.
got a lot of courses close by, so it's great. So I already knew that it had a great golf base. There wasn't any competition in this because this space is getting very competitive. It's just there's a lot of people who love golf and they see that there's money to be made by, off of something they love and they want to create their, just like myself, want to create their own thing. So these are popping up everywhere.
Right.
And I love that I had no competition here and there was no indoor place nearby. Um, and that it was a nicer development that was willing to hear me out. And it's because we are such a unique uh, model compared to say a restaurant or a bar. Like we have that seasonality tied to it. It's also the price of the lease is a big deal. I want to be in a nice mall, but I can't afford to pay $30 a square foot. So I knew I knew there was some leverage on my part, that yeah, I knew you guys would kill to have something like this here. So it was just a win-win, It's like I knew I could elevate this mall by creating something fun, different, that it's like and I'm not competition, say like a restaurant bar opens up across the way from me. It's like they can come here, play golf, and they can go there to eat or have a drink. It's like how many people ask me about Mr. Kimchi's who opened up just right down from me, asked me, how's the food, and it's that, it's I think this just really indoor golf when it's done on the level that we did it, I think it just adds something really cool and unique to spaces like this, that, can help you guys sell the property, it's like here's because I think it's hard to find entertainment options to put into these, retail developments. There's obviously movie theaters and tried and true, they're but pinstripes and things like that, but there's only so many of those kind of places that can go around, and it's so I think it's something that it definitely was a win-win for the both of us.
Yeah. So Mr. Kimchi is a new tenant for us. Do you eat there?
I do. He did a great job with it.
Yeah.
It's all you can eat though, so you leave that place like I leave that place having the meat sweats. It's so good, I can't stop eating. I have to be careful.
Well, uh, listen, Brian, this has been great. Where can people find you?
So I'm right in the heart of Ranhurst Mall or Village. It's we're right under the Hampton Inn Suites. which I love. We get lots of hotel guests in here, but we're right on that center boulevard right here in Mount Prospect.
And how about online? How can someone find you online?
Golffactory.golf.
But all right, everybody, check it out. If you get to Chicago, get to Randhurst Village, get some swings in with Brian at Golf Factory, and pop in to get some Mr. Kimchi.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Brian, this has been great. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you watching. Hit subscribe. See you in the next one.